All right, let's get right to it. Just going to do a quick recap of the previous week. It was also a pretty eventful week. I think it's like the fourth week of the Iran war. There's still a lot of uncertainty in the market. There's still a lot of questions, very few answers. Um, so so yeah. Um, let's pick up where we left. I think we left here last week on Wednesday, and I predicted that the market would roll, and it effectually did so. You can see here, I predicted that at least it will do like this, but it didn't. It just went straight down, at the very top. So you can revisit my video and see my arguments for it, on why I thought it would do this. Regarding Bitcoin, I originally thought that it would go down to this level and immediately uh, like a pivot. Uh, uh, this pivot would support the, the bullish thesis, but we saw that it didn't support the bullish thesis. Because right now people are considering Bitcoin is more it's more or less broke correlation, and it's more or less in a bullish momentum. It's pretty much stayed well off the lows, and it's consolidating around the 70,000 area. But uh, it's been this week. It's been having problems pushing higher, right? So and add to that, uh, add to that, uh, a increasing decrease in volatility. You've seen decrease in volatility, um, in liquidity. I meant liquidity. So um, there's less liquidity, and what happens when liquidity stalls around a pivotal, crucial area? You know, so it's been like this ever since this collapse, right? So if it continues like this, it's pretty dangerous for Bitcoin to continue like this, for the bullish thesis to continue. If it continues like this on a highly crucial area, which is 70K. So for the bullish thesis to continue, it has to pretty much launch from these levels pretty soon. Otherwise, we could see a reversal pretty soon from bullish to bearish. If it continues like this with decreasing um, with decreasing liquidity volume. So that's my thesis for now. It's like your prediction. I'm bearish for Bitcoin, even though we are at equities range lows. 24K was on the Nasdaq. 24K was a pivotal, crucial level to keep. Looks like it broke it, and it's an important level to keep. It's a pretty important psychological level to keep an eye on. And yeah, um, so yeah, I mean, basically, I said as I drew this line last video and said, okay, well, we're reaching another resistance here, and things are just not looking very positive for Bitcoin. So I switched short, I switched bearish around this level. So and then it went down, right? And uh, so it's we approached 24K, and it got instantly bought on Friday, right? Because well, I mean, you're basically reaching like lower lows, so you're just gonna buy. The buyer stepped in like they always do, right? So they bought, and the following Monday opened lower, opened higher. Looks like it, yeah, it did open higher just a little bit, you know. And then during it was set to go down. It was set to go like before the market. It was getting pretty bearish. It was getting pretty dark, you know. And that's where the biggest trade of the week, um, the biggest trade of the day happened. Where of the probably the biggest trade of the administration happened. You know, when basically U.S. oil, um, you know, printed this whole uh, bar here, right? So on the based on a Trump tweet, he tweeted that um, he was in talks with Iran for a ceasefire, but you know, but it turns out that it wasn't true at all. So it was just many people are seeing it, are reading this as pure market manipulation, and people are calling for further criminal investigations, like even you know on this matter. So it was just probably one of the most corrupt, one of the most atrocious frauds, crime. It just assures you that the people at the top just don't play by the rules. So if the people on top don't play by the rules, why would you? So it's just very concerning for the whole American system, for the whole American hegemony. I mean, just this types of things to be done in plain light, in plain daylight, is just complete cynicism and just complete disregard to uh, to a to Americans, to the world. So it just it's a very bad things happening in America in the government right now. When just things like this just assures you of that. So I think it just adds to things like this will add to the uncertainty uncertainty pieces. Things like this would just add more uncertainty to the mix. Just loss of faith in the system, loss of faith in the dollar, loss of faith in the U.S. government. That's growing increasingly corrupt, and I think that's one of the reasons that the dollar will continue to lose relevance on a global scale. Just things like this, just it's very wrong, and just people are just allowing it. I mean, there were reports that some person like loaded up on a short just minutes prior to the dive, minutes prior to the tweet. They revealed that some people started a very big, a quite hefty sum, short, you know. So, and it paid off very, very, very profitably. And like just around 10%, 10% dive. Just quite a trade, quite an insider trade. So there you go. That's that's my opinion on the market. I think things are just gonna go get even worse in America. I just don't see things getting better, considering just the whole mess that's it's infected in the American government. It's just very sad, actually. I think it's the final stages of America. And the Strait of Hormuz basically showed how the whole conflict around the Strait of Hormuz just revealed how fragile the whole economy is, and just how fragile the American economy is, and how just by closing like a couple kilometer long strait can cause the obliteration of America, the end of America. It's quite funny, you know, and there's a lot of leverage that Iran has in place, and I think they know it, and that could potentially topple the American government. Like I think people would be surprised, and I think many people would be surprised on how fast America can go. You know, I think if it does happen, it will go. It will happen quick. Like it will collapse really fast, considering how leveraged and just how much of a bubble everything is, how everything is just collateralized, on top of the other, you know. So I think the bank crisis just showed us how ugly things can get. But if we ever get to that level again, I think we will be be facing another banking crisis, but to a n degree, to like an exponential, you know what I mean? So it's gonna drop fast. So the whole American economy is the financial economy, that's the banking sector, that's pretty highly leveraged and just commands a greater portion of the American economy. Could budget by hitting them, could ruin the dependency of the American economy on the financial system, the banking system. It's you know, and just the fragility of the banking, the financial system is just you know the government cannot afford to raise rates, and that seems to be the path that we're heading to, considering the high inflation prices, considering the high oil prices that could potentially raise inflation, you know. So it's not looking good at all for America and for the whole world, you know. And it's just complete ineptitude. It's just people not incompetence. It's just complete incompetence. The American government, and it's just a shame because it's leading a major economy and just leading to hell, to its own destruction. But I guess this is just providence. I guess that is manifest destiny. That's destiny is in America, to annihilate itself, to collapse itself in front of the world. You see. So So there's what happened. I think that would erode trust in the American institutions and the dollar even further. So um, it went down because, and it went up because the dollar, people suddenly started buying stocks. You know, they started buying stocks and they started buying gold again. Gold's been trading vis-a-vis with on par with stocks recently. It's been trading similar to stocks. So just look at this. Its chart. It's been quite revealing. I think it's been taking more of a toll than stocks. You can see here. It was basically like last week. It was like 5,000, right? And it just went from 5,000 to 4,000. It was crazy. Like in a matter of a week. And what caused this? That's a very good question. What caused this sell-off, this gold sell-off? Well, we could debate all night long. You could raise an argument that has to do with that just price is stabilizing and just correction or whatever. You could also raise another argument about that people, the expectancy, the interest rate expectancy, considering the rise of oil and considering that the policy change, expectancy, people expect that the Fed will not cut interests, um, but spike, but raise interests. So you could raise an argument. We could debate all day long. I think it's a little bit above of both. Uh, when they sell gold like this, it's usually also, taking profits too and everything. But it also signals that I'm not gonna like what I'm gonna say, but it also signals, um, I mean, it signals a return of confidence in a way, a reduction of uncertainty. But it may not be wholly the case. This may not be wholly the case because if if gold sells like this, then for the thesis of the return of confidence in the US dollar and the economy, for it to be valid, then the dollar will have to go up, right? Because everyone's selling gold, everyone the confidence is returning to the American system. That would be the logical thesis, right? But we're seeing here that it's not the case. That the gold has not moved. That the dollar has not moved. Gold has moved. It has shown that people are selling for whatever reason that may be. You could debate here all day long. Um, but but the thesis supporting that the return of trust in the American system and policy is not wholly valid either. We're seeing here that the dollar is back to the previous support area, right? So it's support area. So it should have been way higher, considering the US dollar and gold correlation, but it's not. So that means that people are not wholly confident on the dollar. You know, they're not really support the dollar. So they sold gold You know, so where is the money going? Right? It's a good question. I mean, they sold gold, they sold equities, they sold gold all week long. They sold gold hard, but where is the money going? I mean, it's not going to stocks, that's for sure. Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, if you know the answer, you could comment below. But um, where is the money going to sell off? You know, um, it's a very good question. Where is the sell off going? So yeah, so I'm gonna have to do some research on that. Um, I'll get the answer probably next week. So that's basically my thesis for the remaining of the week. For next week, I think Bitcoin will still hover around this area for a while. I think it is still highly manipulated. I still will recommend caution. It's highly manipulated because we are in a bear market. We're in lows. The Bitcoin market history has shown that its prices, its market is it's highly manipulative. People can manipulate it very easily, more so than oil than commodities market. So that's my prediction for this week. It will hover. It has to go up. Otherwise, it will continue to go down. I still think it will go down because, well, we're in a freaking war. Like, you know what I mean? So that's the consensus. But you know, consensus on Bitcoin is usually on bear markets is not really is difficult. I think it's not as easy and it's not as simple. You know, we all know that things are going down, but sometimes that consistency, that reliance is on. Sometimes it just takes. Sometimes Bitcoin will take the easier route and take for max pain and take the shorts out. You know, and then just you know what I mean. It just loves to do that. Like I wouldn't be surprised if it lost that. So it's just gonna be, or even go at here. You know, so you just gotta be ready for whatever option that it may present itself. So that's my take on Bitcoin for next week. And on the Nasdaq, again, I think we are on range lows, and you know, just I would look for longs really. Like it's just range longs. Like you don't want to short the lows. You know what I mean? So I would expect every top to get sold. You know. So I think that's what smart traders are doing. To just would take every spike and sell it. You know. So I think we are in that scenario right now. Just the short every rip kind of environment right now. So that's where things are going. So considering these theses, I would say that Bitcoin might go up just because we're in the range lows, but who knows? Like, who really knows? Because it's been right now a lot of very low liquidity on both Bitcoin, it's been and and equities. So you just don't know at the moment. You just have to expect and wait for a range, play ranges, you know. So there you go. Um, Again, I would advise caution and yeah, just hope for the best and see next week.